Good morning, everyone. So I've been doing a lot of soul searching lately. Am I too old to get a commercial pilot license at 42? Like, am I crazy for thinking about this? I want to get the input from all the aviators that have made that leap in their life and the aviators that maybe haven't and the reasons why. I want to hear from you all. But rather than do one of those videos where I'm just a talking head and the screen floating around the whole time and blabbing my face off, let's get up in the air and talk about it. Beautiful day to fly. We're going to head over to Dinosaur Provincial Park, which is just a beautiful kind of scenic area. So my goal of this video, I'd like to get some input in the comments section from all the people that have made the transition to being a commercial pilot, preferably people that have done that transition later in their life. So it's got me thinking about this move. Basically, life is just too short. I could keep with the grind where I'm at now, but honestly, every time I'm in the air, flying is what brings me joy in life. And I think if I can do this for a living, that'd be pretty amazing. I think the type of flying that I'd be interested in would be more of the medevac type roles. You know, being at the age I'm at, I gotta be realistic. I really don't think that I'll be moving up to a 777 anytime in my career if I do make that switch, nor do I really have interest in that. What really appeals to me would be sticking with the first responder type roles, so I think I'd be looking more at medevacs and those type of positions. I'd really like to get into a King Air. Are there any medevac pilots out there? What's it like? Are you happy doing the medevac roles? Is this something that you want to continue doing as a career? You know, it seems like a lot of people complain about the shift work, but I'm already doing shift work, so I'm doing day shifts and night shifts with what I'm doing now. So flying at all times of the day isn't really anything out of the unusual for me. So I guess the big announcement too is that I will be going for my commercial pilot license. You know, a lot of my flight training I've been doing is I've been covering off a lot of bases for in the event that I wanted to go for my commercial. I was thinking about going for my commercial anyway, just for the personal achievement. But now it's really got me thinking about getting my license and doing it as a career. As far as total time on my logbook, I mean, I'm still a very low time pilot. I've only got about 235 hours or so. I think by the time I were to get my commercial, get my instrument rating and my multi-engine rating, I think I'll be sitting around maybe 270, 280 by the time I'm done all that, with kind of the fun flying with the Tomahawk and everything as well. Now in the States, that really wouldn't get you far. But in Canada, you know, once you cross over that 250 hours, there's an exam you have to write for two-person crews. And once you're done that, there are a lot of starter positions on King Airs with a minimum hiring of 250 hours. So I'm kind of thinking with my background, and if I hit those marks with my training, I might be an alright candidate for one of those spots. A lot of people think you should start on the ramp and do the grind for a few years. But in my background, I've already done that. I did that in my younger years. I did refueling for a couple years. I did baggage handling and ground handling of big jets and all that. So I'm not new to that. You know, I look at the job ads and it seems like Canada is going through a bit of a pilot shortage. You know, from what I gather in the United States, looks like they bumped a minimum hiring requirement to 1,500 hours for a lot of roles, whereas Canada doesn't have that yet. However, in the States, they pay much better. In Canada, it seems like a lot of companies have been able to float along for years where they kind of dangle a carrot in front of your head and say, you know, we're going to pay you peanuts, but you're building hours. So eventually you'll be able to step up, but in the meantime, we'll treat you kind of like a slave. And from what I gather, this seems to be backfiring on a lot of Canadian companies. Now they're having to pay up. So a lot of companies that traditionally paid extremely low are now having to come up in their wages. And that appeals to me because that seems like there's a window of opportunity where I can capitalize on that. You know, I'm kind of at this crossroads in life. My career took a little bit of a nosedive in 2020 just with the shift in society and kind of how things are in the Western world and how people act with each other. It's kind of turned my current job into a bit of a gone show circus act. You know, I'm kind of more of a glorified babysitter these days. I've given it a handful of years to see if this career will turn around, and you know, there's parts of it I really like, but for the most part my career is a bit of an empty shell of what it used to be. So the next steps for me, I'm currently doing an online ground school for my commercial component for the written test. Yeah, if you got some tips and pointers for me, I'd love to see them in the comments section. And you know, if we got some new pilots or people that want to get into aviation, if they stumble on this video, I want them to be able to read the comments and get a lot of knowledge from the industry pros. So industry pros out there, please, I would love to hear from you. Are you happy? Are you unhappy? Was it a good move? Was it a terrible move? If you could rewind the clock, would you do something better, or would you do it all exactly the same? Please comment below. Thank you for watching. If you want to follow along with my progression through all this and see what you could learn from it all, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.